Julie Chrisley's fame influenced her resentencing decision. Julie Chrisley got through her resentencing hearing. However, it was not what she wanted to hear. Her attorney has let fans know that her fame influenced her resentencing decision. There is a lot to unfold about this situation. Keep reading to find out more about why her fame ruined her chance at freedom. Savannah Chrisley is livid. Savannah Chrisley is not happy about the decision the judge made in her mother's resentencing. She was there with her brother, Chase Chrisley. They saw their mother break down in tears and apologize to the court and her children. Savannah plans to appeal this resentencing and keep fighting for her mother's freedom. Julie Chrisley's fame influenced her decision. It has been revealed what Julie Chrisley's attorney thinks about the resentencing. Jay Sargent revealed that he thinks the judge did not lower her sentencing due to her fame. He thinks that the judge is biased towards celebrities. The judge wanted to make a point that celebrities could not get away with things. It is possible that the judge did not have any plans to lower her sentencing. This is due to her fame, and the judge was not going to have her get out earlier than originally planned. Her attorney also made the point that Julie is not a threat to society and would cause no harm. However, the judge made it clear that there were consequences for her actions. Julie Chrisley did not get the answer she wanted in court. Julie Chrisley's fame has always been a double-edged sword, offering her wealth, influence, and an aspirational lifestyle, while also placing her life under an unforgiving microscope. When the matriarch of Chrisley Knows Best found herself facing a legal battle that would culminate in a prison sentence, the pressure of her fame became inescapable. Julie had spent years portraying a flawless life to millions of fans, and now that very image played a key role in influencing her resentencing decision. The legal system doesn't normally care about celebrity status, but in Julie's case, it couldn't ignore the implications of her fame. Her time in the spotlight, particularly the carefully curated image of perfection, created expectations from both the public and the courts. Those expectations added a layer of complexity when the judge had to revisit the case for resentencing. From the beginning, Julie and her husband, Todd Chrisley, became synonymous with luxury, Southern charm, and family values. Their reality show portrayed them as the epitome of the American dream, living in lavish homes, dressed in designer clothes, and always delivering sharp-witted banter. However, the charges of tax evasion and financial crimes shattered that polished image, exposing a darker side of the reality TV dynasty. The media frenzy surrounding their trial was relentless, with Julie often being painted as either a willing accomplice or a victim caught up in Todd's financial schemes. Either narrative weighed heavily on the court's perception of her. Some saw her as a loving mother and dutiful wife, undeserving of a harsh punishment. Others saw a woman who used her fame and wealth to deceive not only the IRS, but also the fans who had invested in her on-screen persona. Julie's legal team was keenly aware of how fame could sway public opinion and, more importantly, the judge's view of her. The initial sentencing had been a significant blow to her carefully constructed image, with Julie being handed a prison term that shocked her and her supporters. However, there was a glimmer of hope in the possibility of resentencing. The defense believed that her status as a public figure might now work to her advantage in a legal system that sometimes takes the impact of celebrity into consideration. The argument revolved around the idea that Julie's fame came with an inherent punishment. She was already being scrutinized in ways that average citizens weren't. Every misstep, every court appearance, and every interaction was analyzed by the media and the public. She couldn't walk down the street without being recognized, and her family's legal troubles were the subject of countless tabloid headlines. In this sense, her defense claimed she was already serving a form of public penance. The humiliation of having her private life dissected for public consumption was a punishment in itself, and her lawyers believed it should be factored into the resentencing decision. On the other hand, the prosecution argued that Julie's fame only magnified the need for justice. They contended that her celebrity status had afforded her privileges most people could never dream of, and she should not be given leniency simply because she had used her platform to craft an image of perfection. If anything, her fame made her crimes more egregious, as she had knowingly built her fortune on deception. The prosecution was adamant that the resentencing should reflect the seriousness of her offenses, regardless of her status as a reality TV star. When the day of her resentencing finally arrived, the courtroom was packed with media, lawyers, and supporters on both sides. Julie appeared composed, though the strain of the past months was evident in her eyes. Gone were the perfectly styled outfits and high heels that had become her trademark on Chrisley Knows Best. This was a more vulnerable version of Julie, one that the cameras had rarely captured. As the judge began to speak, there was a palpable tension in the room. Everyone knew that this decision would set a precedent, not only for Julie, but for how the justice system might treat public figures in the future. Would her fame work in her favor, softening the blow of her sentence, or would it backfire, solidifying the court's stance that no one, not even the wealthy and famous, was above the law? The judge acknowledged the unique nature of the case, specifically pointing to how Julie's fame had both helped and hurt her throughout the trial. He noted that her status as a public figure had made her actions more visible, contributing to the public outcry and the pressure for a harsh sentence. However, he also admitted that her fame had subjected her to intense media scrutiny, which had undoubtedly added stress and suffering beyond what a typical defendant might experience. In the end, the judge's decision was a balancing act. Julie's sentence was reduced, but not drastically. She would still face significant prison time, though the reduction allowed for the possibility of earlier release with good behavior. The judge emphasized that this decision was not about showing favoritism due to her fame, but rather about acknowledging the totality of the circumstances, including the role her public life had played in the fallout from the trial. As the decision was read, Julie's face remained stoic, but there was a glint of relief in her eyes. She knew that the battle was far from over, but this was a step toward rebuilding her life, a life that would never be the same. Fame had brought her unimaginable highs, and now it had led to her greatest fall. But in this moment, standing in the courtroom, Julie Chrisley understood the price of the spotlight. Fame, once her greatest asset, had influenced her downfall and, ultimately, her path to redemption. Julie's story is a cautionary tale, a reminder that fame is fleeting, and the image portrayed to the world can unravel in an instant. For Julie, the resentencing was not just about serving time. It was about reconciling the woman she had become with the persona she had so carefully crafted for the cameras. And as the courtroom emptied, she knew that the next chapter of her life, whatever it held, would be lived not in the glare of fame, but in the shadows of its consequences.